Raise your hand if you can identify a species on this slide. Awesome. Put your hands down. You all just demonstrated the first step in species literacy, identification. Species literacy is defined as the identification and knowledge about a species, such as its role in the ecosystem, origin, or abundance. The issue is this. Children and non-professional adults are struggling to identify the most common species in their regions. This creates problems for science communicators like us, since biodiversity continues to decline. With 200 to 2,000 species going extinct each year, we are faced with a global extinction rate 100 to 1,000 times higher than pre-human levels. These numbers are challenging for citizens unfamiliar with ecology to understand, making addressing conservation, which is often considered to be a wicked problem, even more challenging. A wicked problem is a complex social problem with an unknown number of potential solutions and a wide range of stakeholders. Species literacy is one of these solutions, and that's where we come in. I recommend an increase in species education in our daily lives, such as our green spaces and, yes, social media, but not just any species. A focus on common and native birds, fish, plants, and insects will allow people to become acquainted with a more diverse range of species than the easily lovable mammals. Similarly, focusing on interactive activities for children and adults will increase engagement. We can start with linear communication models, the sending of a message from one person to another through the implementation of informational signs in our green spaces. A great place for this is our green spaces, since a wide range of demographics utilize them. An effective sign will be no longer than 70 words, contain graphics, have a conversational tone, and be physically and visually accessible. Some places, such as the Washington Park Arboretum, are already using them to increase engagement. A wide variety of organizations, such as our nonprofits or our parks and recreation services, can implement these physical signs or online signs via QR code. By focusing on our most popular parks, such as Discovery or Gasworks, we can get the most bang for our buck. We can also use interactive forms of communication, where the presenter and the audience are able to interact in order to allow for questions and deeper engagement. A perfect place for this is social media, as demonstrated by its fundamental building blocks. The 7 blocks, as presented by Kitzman, Hermkins, McCarthy, and Sylvester, show how social media functions. We can use sharing, groups, relationships, and conversation in order to make species literacy more approachable for lay people. Zuzical, an independent environmental educator, shares silly songs, creates relationships through their comment section, and has important conversations about conservation. In order to fix existing media bias, I recommend reframing conservation away from a political identity and towards universal values, such as independent empowerment, outdoor recreation, and regional identities. Go Pacific Northwest. But how does this actually help? What's the fundamentals? Well, this can be explained by the mere exposure effect. An example of cognitive bias is the more someone is exposed to something, the more they will approve of it. When people understand the world around them, they feel a greater sense of place and belonging. They're more willing to get outside and create community, ultimately leading to better attitudes towards nature and science. Species literacy does not directly advocate for a specific stance on biodiversity decline. Rather, when citizens are willing to engage with science, even at the smallest level, or have a specific species they want to conserve, approaching them with advocacy messaging later on will become more effective. I speak to you as future environmental professionals and citizens of planet Earth. Start by learning a species a week or even a month. Approach your lives with curiosity and see where it can take you. Together, we can work to minimize biodiversity loss in our lifetimes. I'm a direct example of this. 2.5 years ago, I began to go birding at the Union Bay Natural Area to reconnect with nature and support my mental health. Since then, I have learned to identify at least 38 unique avian species and am deeply eager to share my sightings with friends and family. In order to start your journey, I recommend going online to find a field guide for a taxa of interest, or you can download my favorite beginner-friendly app, Merlin Bird ID, which allows you to do photo, sound, and step-by-step identifications. So, go learn, go share, and go save. Thank you.